So I'm watching this exchange between Evil Justin and the Liberty Minute, and I wasn't familiar with the Liberty Minute, but I subscribed to Evil Justin, sort of young socialist kid, interesting, and then this libertarian, he seems like an interesting guy too, actually. I just subscribed to him. I'm not going to comment on their particular conversation, but you know what, the thing that gets me about libertarianism is they're always talking about how capital L libertarianism, because I believe I'm myself as a libertarian, small L, you know, individual liberty is the goal to me, the sovereignty of the individual. Okay, but I believe you need progressive policies to do that, to create the playing field for that. Anyway, the capital L, the anti-tax, taxation is robbery. Isn't there a market of nations? Aren't there like 200 nations, and aren't you allowed to emigrate as an American, especially if you're an American, that is, emigrate to wherever the fuck you want? You know, why do they have to have the rules you want? You know, and why do libertarians not want to think of that as a market? Well, because none of them are good. Well, why would that be? They don't have a government running them. Shouldn't the fact that they don't have a government running them mean that it was great and there's a market of ideas? There's some nation out there that wants all the cool people to immigrate to it, and why isn't that working out? Why doesn't that count? If Mexico went entirely libertarian, they took the whole nation, when you went in, wouldn't you have to pay money? Or let's say you were down there and you wanted to come into the U.S. and we were all privatized. Wouldn't you have to pay money, a yearly fee, to get into our country club, you think? Yeah, all the nations are acting like they own the property and you have to pay rent and fees to have access to it. Isn't that just what you want? Isn't there a market of hundreds of those entities offering you potential citizenship, and all you do is bitch and whine about the one where you're an unhappy customer? Why, when your parents or grandparents or great-great-grandparents came to this country and agreed to the rules and the laws of the land and the liens on their citizenship, that they would have to pay the fees and whatnot to be in the club, well, why do those liens not count for you? If your parents bought an apartment in an apartment building in the city, when you inherit it, do you think you just get to make up the rules of your deed? How does that work? Right, aren't you limited to the same rules? Now, my ancestors came over here and stole this country from on the Mayflower. So I guess I could bitch about the rules, but we put the rules in place by the time you got here, most of you. So what are you bitching about? They came into the Statue of Liberty and they signed away, and they have to pay taxes and all the rest. Stop bitching about it or go do it again and go somewhere else.